This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Encompass Health, North Shore Community College, Leo Inc., Brotherhood Credit Union, and Daoulas Brothers Construction.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of LCTV News. I'm Dani McClory, and headlines this week are education and city focused, with packages expanding to include several flag raisings and exhibit openings. The Lowdown loops back to the Lynn Public Health Department and their distribution of opioid abatement funds. Here's the news for Friday, September 20th, 2024. Lynn is the recipient of $1.65 million in federal funding for their preschool expansion, which includes the addition of 100 seats, a cafeteria, and outdoor play space at Bennett Street. Additionally, the city converted a great deal of seats from half-day to full-day. In the 2023-24 school year, there were 336 half-days and 174 full-day seats. This year, there are 186 half-day and 440 full-day seats for a 157% increase. Space at Bennett Street became available in May when 9 LPS departments moved from the first floor of the administrative building to the upper floors of the senior center, allowing construction to commence. Through an accelerated timeline, spaces were completed by the beginning of the school year for use by pre-K students. There will also be 3 classrooms added onto the bottom floor of Cobbett Elementary, a space formerly used by the Inspectional Services Department. Currently, the city has 13 preschool sites, including 12 classrooms at partner organizations, where LPS provides special education and instructional coaching. Senator Elizabeth Warren was on site last Friday to celebrate these expansions, specifically at Bennett Street, while stressing the importance of investing in our children. Here is the clip.
There's economic gains, there's social benefits. The studies say that you earn, for every dollar you spend on pre-K, the government either saves or gets back anywhere from $2 to $16. It's that kind of return on investment. So that's a big reason why we're doing this. We have this beautiful new center here, which looks awesome. We have an opportunity to make this whole building into pre-K classrooms as we complete some of these moves that we're working on. And we're doing that around the district. We added almost 100 seats last year. We're going to add another 100 this current year, working together to sort of fight for these spaces and develop them and make them come alive the way they look here today.
When I see students that are in pre-K, I see graduates, right? One of the earliest indicators of success, as the mayor pointed out, but we know is early literacy, early numeracy, and in our case specifically, as a community, to ensure that our students have language acquisition and that they learn English developmentally as soon as possible, so that they don't experience the gaps in success that we're trying to then catch up at the elementary, middle, and high school.
Federal government can't do the work that is done in this room. We can't. I can't do the work that's done here. But what we can do is be a good partner for the people who are taking the lead. We can be a good partner for the mayor and for the superintendent. We can be a good partner for all of the teachers and all of the staff that make this happen. We can be a good partner for the parents who care about their children. And most of all, we can be a good partner to the children who will have more opportunities because of all the people here who are investing in this center.
Keeping on the theme of education, Superintendent Alvarez presented her 5-year district strategic plan to the school committee, identifying the district's priorities of expanding outcomes and academic opportunities for their diverse student population. This plan was created based on feedback from numerous groups, including district staff, school committee members, interviews, focus groups, the superintendent's cabinet, and family caregivers. They identified a definition for equity, having asked plan creators to identify individual biases and prior experience to see how they can either help or harm the district's pursuit of equity. The end result? A plan which focuses on having diverse-driven educators who help their students grow intellectually and vocationally, articulating skills they want all LPS graduates to have: critical thinkers, problem solvers, effective communication, and the desire to forge their own path. GALA held an exhibit opening last Friday night titled Wicked, Wonder, and Whimsy. Originally planned as 2 separate exhibits, the weird and supernatural came together for this event, which exhibited some rather interesting pieces. Take a look.
We actually had 2 shows on the schedule that were 2 sides of the same coin, and we decided to just mash them together and ask our artists to bring us things that represented their weird, whatever that may be, whether it's whimsical, wicked, has a sense of wonder to it, maybe even a sense of terror. We are in the holiday season, so it seemed like a fitting theme. This is our opening reception tonight on Friday the 13th.
Oh, we have a lot of painting, multimedia, photography, a couple of sculptures.
I think the most interesting ones, though, we have 3 nail sets that are actual acrylic nail sets that all talk about Lucifer, God, heaven and hell, and that struggle. We are always looking for volunteers. So if you have some time on your hands and you want to help make art happen, come see us. Yeah, our gallery hours are Wednesdays and Fridays from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., Thursdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., and Saturdays from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. This exhibit closes on October 26th.
With a Halloween party, so come see us.
Kenya Pena, an administrative assistant in the assessing department, is the 2024 recipient of Lucille Bay's Clerk of the Year Award, given every year by the Massachusetts Association of Assessing Officers to recognize a clerk who demonstrates commitment to the office and courtesy to the public. Pena has worked in the assessing department for 8 years, moving from principal clerk to head clerk before being appointed to her current position of administrative assistant earlier this year. She translates documents, created a dedicated line for Spanish speakers, and participates as a translator during field visits. She began taking an introduction to assessment administration through the Mass Department of Revenue and has been trained in conflict resolution. For the past 3 years, Pena has also mentored an intern and guided a senior citizen through the Senior Citizen Property Tax Credit Program. As stated by the Director of Assessing, quote, Kenya has always treated customers with the utmost professionalism. She has performed at every opportunity for added responsibility and especially shined during the past year, end quote. Today, the 20th, Governor Healy and Attorney General Andrea Campbell released updated guidance to K-12 schools on how to address hate and bias-fueled incidents, as well as their legal obligations. This comes as officials are seeing an uptick in anti-Semitism, racism, anti-LGBTQ hate, and Islamophobia across the globe and right here in Massachusetts. These guidelines are meant to help schools distinguish between protected student speech and unprotected harassment and bullying. Therefore, the Healy-Driscoll administration and Attorney General's office are addressing hate by focusing on education, awareness, and understanding. To this end, the DESE has awarded $336,000 in hate crime prevention to 8 school districts. They've also dished out $1.34 million in genocide education grants to 43 local education agencies, focused on providing professional development and developing curriculum related to genocide education. Lynn Public Schools received $43,000 in fiscal year 2024 in hate crime prevention grants, while Lynn as a whole will be the recipient of a $60,000 FY24 and FY25 genocide education grant. The City of Lynn held their third annual National Recovery Month flag raising this past Tuesday the 17th. Established in 1989, Recovery Month is recognized every September to shed light on resources while also celebrating the recovery community and all service providers who help make this work possible.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our third annual Recovery Month event. As the Substance Use Coordinator for the Public Health Department, I believe that the opposite of addiction is connection. And we host events like this to remind people that no matter what stage of recovery you are in, you do not have to do this alone. And there are services available to support you.
My name is Kim. I'm a woman in long-term recovery, and I'm the program director at the Recovery Exchange. My journey in Lynn, I actually entered Lynn in 1991 to enter recovery, and what I found was a vibrant recovery community in the city of Lynn. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. I feel very honored to work there. I think it's just as important as a youth center, as a senior center. A recovery community center is a safe place where people seeking recovery can come, find like-minded people and activities to engage in and build recovery capital and life skills that will sustain them for the rest of their lives.
We as a community are proud of that not only do we have so many dedicated people working on this issue, but they're working together. And I think that is a special asset and strength that Lynn has in the recovery community, that everyone's willingness to work together in a common direction. And so on this flag raising, I just want to say thank you for what you did.
Lynn Auditorium was full to the brim to celebrate Guatemalan Independence Day on Tuesday, September 17th, celebrating 203 years since they declared their independence from Spanish colonization in 1821. Here is more from the event.
Por parte de la ciudad de Lynn, yo quiero decir feliz Día de Independencia Guatemala.
En este Día de la Independencia de Guatemala,
On this day of Guatemalan Independence Day,
aunque estemos lejos de nuestra tierra,
though we may be far from our land,
llevamos siempre en el corazón el orgullo de ser guatemaltecos.
we always have in our heart the pride of being Guatemalan. Agradezco mucho lo que ustedes comparten con la ciudad de Lynn en su cultura. I'm very grateful for what you share with the city of Lynn within your culture. La inversión de la comunidad de empresas. The investment of a community with businesses. Y las mejoras que yo veo en toda la ciudad, en nuestras casas y calles y yo puedo ver el cariño que ustedes tienen para su comunidad específica y la ciudad en general. And the best that we have within streets and homes and all that you give for our community as a whole.
Este 15 de septiembre nos inspire a mantener viva nuestra identidad y a soñar con un futuro próspero para todos.
That September 15 will represent a time where we all collectively dream for a better future.
Feliz Día de la Independencia, Guatemala.
Happy Guatemalan Independence Day!
Keolis Commuter Services, the operating partner for the MBTA commuter rail, partnered with local community organizations and officials to install art by Raw Artworks at the temporary station in Lynn. The unveiling of this artwork took place on the 17th, with volunteers also cleaning up around the station and assisting in new landscaping. The piece, titled Lynn Loves, is meant to brighten the daily journeys of Lynners and connect people through artistic expression, according to Raw Arts Executive Director Rosario Ubiera Minaya. Included in the volunteers was State Senator Brendan Crichton, who expressed his excitement over the community involvement in this project and efforts by all groups to enhance riders' experiences at this station. On the starting line, the sports update. St. Mary's football had themselves a night, besting Kip 27-6. After a slow first quarter, the Spartans heated up, scoring 35 and 46-yard touchdowns by halftime. The third saw a 56-yard touchdown run by Maxwell Parent and Rowan Merriweather's second score of the night. Not to be outdone, the St. Mary's defense snagged 2 interceptions and a sack. The loss for Kim was not without positives, however. They grabbed 2 fumble recoveries, a sack, and a 53-yard touchdown reception in the third. The Swampscott Big Blue entered enemy territory and escaped with a 20-14 victory over Lynn English. In the first half, the Bulldogs connected on an 18-yard reception and 53-yard catch and run by the combination of quarterback Jaden Rosario and receiver Shane Knowlton Samard. Tied 14-14 at halftime, the third quarter saw several momentum swings. Swampscott opened with excellent field position, but a penalty negated the score, allowing English to stop them on the 4-yard line. The Bulldogs tried a bit of trickery with a double pass over the middle, but it was intercepted by the Big Blue. Undeterred, English forced another turnover on downs, but saw their next punt blocked. The deciding play came on a go-ahead touchdown by Swampscott with 4 minutes remaining. A subsequent interception gave the visitors back control of the ball, who proceeded to run out the clock. Glasgow continues to search for their first win, hosting and falling to New Bedford 27-0 over the weekend. Neither team found their rhythm until late in the third, when New Bedford scored on a 77-yard reception. They would score twice more on a 9-yard rush and 36-yard pick six. The Rams played hard, but injuries forced them to use freshmen earlier than anticipated. Their highlights were the 5 receptions and 41 yards receiving by Jabin Pierce. In girls soccer, St. Mary's has lost their last 2, falling to Saugus 3-1 over the weekend and Bishop Fenwick 3-2 on the 18th, while the Bulldogs and Rams battled to 1-1 draws in their respective games. English against Chelsea on the 16th and Classical versus Somerville on the 17th. On the flip side, Tech was the victor in a high-scoring 6-5 final over the Minutemen. Angie Nix netted a hat trick before Cindy De Leon knocked in the game winner. For the boys, Lynn Tech was shut out 1-0 by Shawsheen Valley Tech for their 3rd consecutive loss. English was also defeated by Chelsea 3-1 on the road, while the Spartans defeated their arch-rival Bishop Fenwick in commanding fashion 5-0. They controlled pace the entire game, scoring in the first 6 minutes and adding another 3 by halftime, 2 courtesy of Anthony Gonzalez. Rams volleyball is undefeated no more, suffering their first loss of the year 3-2 against Malden. After losing the first set, Classical won the next 2, but dropped the 4th and 5th sets. They rebounded, taking down city rival Lynn English in straight sets 3-0, led by Jaden De Benedetto with 5 kills, 6 aces, and 11 digs. The Bulldogs were also held to 18 or less points in all sets. In another city rivalry game, it was Tech taking a 3-0 sweep over Kip. Leah Morales led the Tigers with 16 digs, 8 aces, and 3 kills, while St. Mary's was shut out 3-0 against Bishop Fenwick. Turning to the course, St. Mary's Golf has won their last 3 matches for a 4-3 record, most recently besting Lowell Catholic 164-127. The Rams were also victorious 34-20 over Everett, moving above 500 in this young season. In cross country, the Lynn Tech Kip girls are a perfect 2-0, winning a tight 24-22 contest at the Minutemen. They grabbed 5 of the top 7 spots, while the boys also won with a more comfortable margin, 43-18. The Sox are at 76-77 with a few weeks left in the season. Going 1-3 against the Yankees, they traveled to another division rival, the Tampa Bay Rays, and went 1-2 against them. After a surprising win in Week 1, the Patriots are 1-2, losing 23-20 in overtime to the Seattle Seahawks and 24-3 to the New York Jets. Versus the Seahawks, New England did score first on a 5-yard pass to Lynn Polk, but Seattle answered right back with a score of their own. Similar problems from last year haunted this team, as they entered the red zone 4 times, but were held to field goals twice. The Seahawks then kicked the game-tying field goal with 55 seconds in regulation, before winning on a 38-yarder in OT. Against the Jets, nothing was going right. New York took a 7-0 lead on their first drive and never gave up the lead. The Pats' defense had 14 missed tackles, while QB Jacoby Brissett was sacked 4 times. The Opioid Working Group is distributing $250,000 through grants to groups presenting innovative solutions that help the recovery community. Staffed by people with lived experience, government officials, and health professionals, they will review all applications submitted by October 31st. 2 members of the Lynn Public Health Department and Working Group joined us on the Lowdown to shed light on the kinds of projects they are looking for and the importance of supporting those in recovery. Good afternoon and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Dani Vittori, and today we have on 2 members from the Lynn Public Health Division. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
So would you mind just introducing yourselves and your respective titles?
My name is Candice McClory. I am the Substance Use Coordinator and Community Liaison.
And I'm Mulika Champigny. I'm the Community Resource Coordinator.
Great. So would you mind giving a brief overview of what the Public Health Department does, what your mission is?
So we kind of do a lot in the realm of health. We provide flu vaccines. We try to provide health resources, different health information. We have a public health coordinator who does food policies, and then we also have an epidemiologist and public health nurse who track infectious diseases.
Great. And you also have a community health resource room as well in City Hall that people can visit?
Yes, we do.
And what sort of services do you provide there?
So some of the stuff that we provide there, it's still new. It's about 1.5 years old now. We try to gather health information and resources from either local, state, or national organizations, and we try to provide those resources in our community health resource room. So when residents do come to City Hall, they're not just coming there to kind of pay tickets or get a birth certificate. They can come and get other resources that they wouldn't normally get at City Hall.
Great, that's fantastic. And one of those things is the Opioid Working Group, which is one thing you came on to talk about. Can you explain a little bit about what that is?
So the Opioid Working Group is responsible for making recommendations to the mayor's office in regards to the opioid abatement funds. The opioid abatement funds are the lawsuits from the Attorney General's office that were made to the pharmaceutical companies for their responsibility in the opioid epidemic. Mm-hmm. So the City of Lynn is getting a portion of those, and the Opioid Working Group offers recommendations on how to spend those based on a survey that we did in community engagement, so a lot of community feedback.
And the council itself is incredibly diverse, people with lived experience, healthcare, city council. Why is it so important to get so many different perspectives?
It's really important because not one person has the right answer. Right. So it's very important to show through the whole perspective of substance use, from youth to elderly to people that are actively using to people that are in recovery. So it's really important that we get the whole picture instead of just like one view and one perspective on what's going on.
And one of the reasons you came on here was for a notice of funding, that are funds that are going to be available to be distributed. Do you want to speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, so throughout the working group, we recently put out a notice of funding availability. So that is $250,000 that is open for organizations to apply to. And these funds are used for supplementing and strengthening services available in the area and people that are affected by substance use. Applicants can apply for one-time or recurring funds to support emerging innovative ideas to combat Lynn's opioid crisis.
And what kinds of programs or ideas would qualify for something like this?
So the good thing about this grant is we left it really broad intentionally. We want people to get very creative and think outside the box. The point of these grants is to both bridge gaps in access to care and also build community within people that are actively using or in recovery. So and also we would like to fund things that aren't traditionally funded otherwise. So some ideas that could happen is organizations could get funds to pay for people to get their IDs. You can't go to shelter or detox without an ID, so that's essential to giving people access to care and resources. Gym memberships for people in recovery. Part of being in recovery is building community relationships and maintaining those. So building areas where people can connect, such as in the gym. Along with that is alternative methods of treatment can also apply to this. So there's like Reiki, acupuncture, yoga, all those are ways that people have used to get themselves in recovery and building community. We can also do things like support for family or loved ones who have been incarcerated, support for loved ones who have lost someone to substance use, daycare support for new parents or in recovery or grandparents that are raising their grandchildren, scholarships for youth who have lost someone, support for someone in recovery or youth who have been affected by substance use, as in terms of like music lessons or art.
Yeah.
So things such as music and art, just to, like I said, build community and build up children, help them with youth prevention and ideas like that.
So yeah, like you said, very, very broad, really opens it up for people to get creative with ideas, which is a great thing. So maybe you can get some non-traditional ideas that can really help people. Yeah. And I'll circle this back to you for a second, Mulika, too. Another way you're doing this is with the public health van, literally going to people where they are at.
Yeah.
So how does that work?
So usually we try to bring the van to community events. So if any local organizations or community leaders are hosting an event where they're providing different health resources or just resources in general, they can always reach out to our department and request that we also attend the event, and we table there, we provide resources, different health information, and we kind of gear it towards the type of event. So if it's like a youth event, we try to provide youth resources, so like health coloring books, resources for parents with young kids, or if it's like an older adults event, we try to provide senior resources, so like disaster preparedness for seniors, or different organizations that can help seniors with healthcare.
And another thing you mentioned too is the way the van was decorated by raw art students. It quite literally looks like it's being wrapped by a mural. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so the Raw Arts kids, we reached out to them last year to kind of see if they could come up with ideas to create a mural for our community health resource room. And the idea is, it was our previous nurses, Jen Almonte and MJ Duffy Alexander. The idea that they picked, the concept that they picked was kind of like health and togetherness. So when you look at the mural, you'll see like a woman kind of wrapping herself around. She's supposed to be kind of like Mother Nature. And then the sea aspect was kind of like to the old previous room had like a blue colored like ocean type theme. So it was to kind of pay homage to that. And our new public health director, Lisa Tolbin, she really loved the idea of the mural, loved how it looked, loved how it brought the resource room together, and just really wanted it to be a symbol of public health. And so she decided to kind of put that on the van. So when people see us in the neighborhoods or within the community, they'll know that it's public health there.
Because it is. It's very recognizable. I've seen you at a few events, and I immediately know, oh, that's the public health van.
Yeah.
Yes. And we want people to know that we're there with resources and information as well.
And you do so much through this working group, through the van, to really reach out and meet people where they're at. So what are you really hoping to show the community by making yourself so much more ingrained in it?
That we're here to support them, and that public health is really everyday life, and there's so many different aspects to public health, and really just reminding people what we do, because a lot of people are like, what does public health do? So just bringing it to them, like, we're here to bring you resources and support you in ways that may not have been traditionally available.
And I will circle back for a sec, because I realized I didn't ask. The funds that are available, how much funding is available, and what is the timeline for that application and use and such?
So the application deadline, we just extended. So if you go online right now, it does say the 19th, but we have extended it to October 31st. And you can access the application online on the Public Health tab on the City of Lynn webpage.
And then how much money is available, and if someone, let's say, received the grant, how long do they have to actually use it?
So there are $250,000 up in total for people to apply for. We do not have like a maximum amount that you can ask for. We may not be able to give people the amount that they do ask for, but we ask that you put the amount that you are looking for, and then we can, talk about it and see if it's if we're able to do that, or if there's like some leeway and we can, negotiate it a little bit.
Yeah, it sounds like really a program, really a thing. And are there any other qualifications in terms of applying for it?
Yes, so you have to be an established organization, so either a nonprofit or for-profit organization, or you have to be collaborating with one in order to apply. So unfortunately, no individuals can apply for gift cards, but organizations can apply for gift cards for their participants.
Okay, I understand. So you have to work with some form of an organization.
Yes.
I'm trying to think, and I know we do have to wrap up in a moment, and I want to thank you both again so much for coming on to really share all the resources that the Public Health Division is providing.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course, thank you anytime. And once again, I'm Dani Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next week with more guests. Now, the community calendar. Friends of the Lynn Public Library are hosting a Touch a Truck fundraiser from 11:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. on Sunday, September 21st. Located at 40 Center Street in the lot next to Market Basket, this is a free event where participants can explore police cars, fire engines, construction vehicles, and more. Attendees are invited to make a cash donation if they are able, with all proceeds benefiting the Lynn Public Library. If you're looking for a laugh, the Lynn Music Foundation is continuing their stand-up, stick-up comedy in the Vault Theater next Thursday, the 26th. Come for a night of fun, laughter, and live performances, headlined by Courtney Reynolds. With special musical performances by Dave Simmons, this show will feature 6 performers. Doors open at 7:30 p.m., admission is $20, and the show begins at 8. Join the Lynn Museum on September 27th from 6 to 9 p.m. for their last Final Fridays event of 2024. This series will wrap up by celebrating all the local entrepreneurs and community members with a night market at Frederick Douglass Park. Hosted by Mr. PSA, with sounds by DJ Ravino, come to hear several special guests perform. Spots are still open for anyone who wishes to have a table at the event. That's a wrap on the news for this week. As always, follow us on social media at Lynn Community Television to stay updated on all the latest press releases and announcements from the city and community groups. And visit lyntv.org for the most complete community calendar in the city, videos on demand, and breaking news. If you wish to focus on video content, go to Lynn Community Television on YouTube for staff content, PSAs, and promos. I'm Dani Vittori, this is the LCTV News, and we will see you next week.
This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Encompass Health, North Shore Community College, Leo Inc., Brotherhood Credit Union, and Deulis Brothers Construction.